So I just came back from army, from reservist, right? So every time you go reservist or every time you meet a new group of friends, right, and they find out you're physicians, you will find that they have a lot of questions for you, right? Some of them, they will ask you like, oh, I hear pain, that pain. Some of them will ask for their parents, like, they have this illness, how to solve. And then the other people, they will ask like, oh, I have this symptom, I have this problem, right? So actually, a lot of people nowadays, they have issues with sleep, they have issues with digestion, poor gut health. All these are actually what we call, to a certain extent, sub-health in TCM. Yeah, so today we'll be further elaborating on what this whole thing is about and whether or not you are suffering from it. You should be able to determine by the end of this episode.
Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of
What the Health?
A series of all things health from the perspective of TCM physicians here in Singapore.
My name is Ming.
I'm Kat.
And I'm Zheng Jia. And today we're going to be talking about
Sub-health.
Yes,
Sub-health. Yeah.
Okay, so another definition of how you determine whether it falls under sub-health is when, so let's say for example, you go for like your body checkup and there is nothing wrong with your blood index and all like the index. All the indexes are normal, but then you are experiencing some discomfort in your body, be it like suffering from indigestion or like sleepless nights and like heart palpitations and everything.
Yeah, I think even simple things like overperspiration or like feeling thirsty on a regular basis, all these all fall under sub-health as well.
Yes, and
so it's
like,
not like a substitute health, but more of like
secondary health issues.
in between
Secondary health
health and like illness, that kind.
Yeah,
Not
correct.
so serious until it's like an illness, but it's serious enough that you
you're
can
not
feel
healthy.
Yes,
Yeah.
correct. Like you can feel like some changes inside your body lah. Okay.
Correct.
So what are some of the causes of like sub-health? You want to give some examples?
Actually, because sub-health is such a big field, right? There's so many different symptoms that are relating to this area. So the causes are also very varied. But generally speaking, from my understanding, these are normally caused by lifestyle habits, bad habits, or not so good habits that eventually over time snowball into these kind of issues that we face on a daily basis, right? So for example, for myself, a personal experience is that last time I used to drink a lot of tea. Like one day I can drink like 2 or 3, even 3 cups of tea. Yeah. So I'll find that during that particular period of time when I was having this issue, I was having a lot of like bloating, I was having a lot of indigestion, a lot of loose stools. Then every day I would wake up feeling very tired, very low on energy. Yeah. So the reason was that I was experiencing sort of this symptom where my gut health, my digestion was not very good because I kept drinking tea, which in TCM is not very good for your stomach. So it affected my ability to absorb nutrients, my ability to digest food properly, and that sort of led to all these kind of symptoms that I was experiencing. Yeah, so I would say that if I were to go for a check then, I would probably not have been diagnosed with any condition, not like stomach ulcer or what. Yeah, but I had these symptoms, so this is what we basically call sub-health.
Okay, but just to put it out there, it doesn't mean that you cannot drink tea. Probably the type of tea that he drinks is
very
like
liang, very cooling.
Yes, correct. Or like, tea is meant to be drank like
Regularly.
hot and warm. Okay, but sometimes like people have the habit of like just leaving the tea down there and drink it like when it's like cold. So like over time, probably like it's not good lah.
No, then for me I drank hot tea.
Hot tea,
Yeah, but even hot tea itself is cooling lah. So
then I think your stomach
Is it
got
the-
problem.
my stomach got problem.
Is it
lah,
the
really.
day kind or the
The black tea lah.
black tea lah, teh O
yeah.
lah, teh O.
Yeah. So it's already cooling, right? Then I understand a lot of people like to drink like iced lemon tea or like iced tea, right? So that is in itself is even worse lah. Yeah. So if you have these kind of issues, then try to avoid lot. Yeah. So yeah, after I like made a decision to I want to correct my bad habits, right? And I stopped drinking tea. Then I switched to like coffee lah. I mean, it's not exactly a great substitute. It's not a great substitute, but it did help. So nowadays I'm a lot more energetic. I don't know whether it's because of the coffee.
Might be the caffeine.
Might be the coffee. But I don't get like indigestion, bloating, like loose stools anymore. So yeah, I can very surely say that it was because of those lifestyle habits that
Right,
caused
right.
these kind of symptoms. Yeah.
Okay.
So in your daily life, if you have these kind of symptoms, try and think back. Is there any kind of causes or any lifestyle habits that are not so good that might be causing it? How about your any experiences with Sub-Health?
All the problems that I suffer is because of what I do.
What do you mean?
Like I sleep late lor, so I cannot wake up in the morning.
I think for myself, something that I'm still going through now is like recently I've got very dry lips. Like, for the past almost 2-3 months or
You
so.
never drink enough water. Ah?
No, I drink a lot of water, and I drink like all those a bit more 清热 one, a bit more 滋阴 one also. Then I everyday put lip balm and everything, but it's been bugging me for the longest time. Like this lip, just dry lip lah. Yeah, so it's not. If I go to the doctor and tell him, yeah, I've got dry lips.
You
he'll
have to
just
drink
like-
more water.
Yeah, he asked
You
me to
lip
drink
balm.
more- yeah, use lip balm, drink more water, and all that kind of thing. But you know, it's enough to make
Cause
me,
a problem.
Yeah,
Annoyed,
yeah,
uncomfortable.
maybe annoyed. Yeah, and have to take a measure to go and address it. Yeah, so I think maybe that's what Zheng kind of is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So to conclude, or like TLDR is like maybe sometimes like your body, the TCM organs like misfunction.
Yeah, so like you might be wondering like, how does drinking tea or how does like sleeping late or these actually lead to these kind of symptoms, right? Whereby in Western medicine, if you go for a check, actually your blood is okay, you know, your vitals are okay, everything's okay.
But why is this
Yeah,
happening?
but why is this happening? Yeah, so in TCM, you know, it also about balance. So we have this way of understanding the body slightly
and
differently.
how the organs
Yeah.
work.
So in TCM, the main organs, we call it 心肝脾肺肾, the heart, lung, liver, spleen,
Kidney.
and kidney. Yeah. So these 5 are the primary organs in TCM, right? And, you know, we depend on these organs to be in harmony for us to be healthy.
Yes,
right?
but then at the same time, like for example, like if the TCM tells you say, oh, you have like kidney T deficiency, but then that doesn't mean that when Western doctors go and check your kidney, right, there's something wrong with your kidney. It's just the way that the kidney functions in the TCM style is a little bit out of place.
Not out of place, I would say like a bit
Misfunction.
off, slightly off or imbalance in terms of the energy flow.
It's derailing from its own
Yeah.
function. Lah.
Yeah, and all these are TCM concepts,
yeah.
right? It's not like your kidney is really off here and there.
Yeah, it's not like you have
what
fever
Katrin said.
problem if you have 肝火.
Yeah. So a lot of these symptoms that we are talking about or that maybe we will elaborate on later on are related to this aspect of imbalance of organs. So for example, in Zheng Jia's case, if he has dry lips, it could be related to liver heat.
liver, maybe spleen.
Liver spleen, even heart fire. Maybe he's sleeping late or he's thinking about work a lot. So he has this lot of internal heat that's causing a lot of drying up of the skin, the lips. Right. For my case, it was definitely related to the spleen or the
stomach,
digestive function, right?
lah,
So the energy there is maybe not so strong. So that causes all these digestive related symptoms lah. Yeah. So any of these symptoms that you might have in this category of Sub-Health might probably be related to some of these organs imbalances lah.
Most people will not realize it lah, but they tend to live with it for years, and then like they say that research has shown that because of this epidemic, 46% of the population suffering from Sub-Health lah. Okay, but at the same time, a lot of people that has Sub-Health problem, sometimes it like stems from like stress. Because like sometimes I have a lot of patients, right? For example, they suddenly change jobs, and then usually I see them like once in a while, but there's a period of time where they just start coming to me more often, like with neck and shoulder pain, with like back aches, which they have never really experienced it so badly before. And then like their period starts to come late, or like suddenly they cannot sleep well, they keep waking up at nights with dreams and all those kind of things. That is when like Sub-Health comes in play also lah.
Yeah, so I mean Sub-Health is not only physiological factors, it's also psychological factors.
Yeah.
Even if you feel like there's a very common symptom in TCM. You feel restless. 心烦 we call it. So if you tell your doctor you're restless, what they're gonna do? Right?
Rest more, sleep early, eat well.
Be less stressed, right? Yeah, but in TCM, it's actually a condition or relating to certain organs in the body. Imbalance, correct. Yeah, so if we were to see a patient like that, then we know, okay, maybe this organ is affected. We will try to address that imbalance. So we actually view it as a problem. It's not something that is just like, just...
Yeah, we see it as a symptom of deeper imbalance.
Correct. Yeah, it's not just something that you should live with because if you are really feeling uncomfortable, then it's a problem.
Should address it, right?
Yeah, so not only physiological but also psychological factors
Yeah.
Right.
And then although some people might be experiencing the same symptoms, but not every cause is the same.
Right. Okay.
For example, if Zheng Jia says, he has dry lips, but under TCM there are many different kind of organ imbalance that causes dry lips also.
Yeah.
So you need to go for consultations to see what exactly are the organs that are out of balance. So that is why we have the consultations to know where exactly gone wrong and how you can adjust your lifestyle changes back to normal.
Yeah, but having said that, sometimes it's not only TCM. I mean, obviously, as TCM physicians, we attribute it to the TCM organs, but in reality, sometimes these symptoms might be really related to a bigger pathological problem, right? Cancer, touch wood right? In very rare cases, cancer or a lot of other things. Yeah. So I mean, having said that, it is sub-health. Not all the time these symptoms only present in sub-health. There are also, like what Catherine said, in the bigger picture, it might be a symptom of something that is slightly more serious Yeah, so that's why we say always, TCM, Western, these are methods
hand in hand,
that you must explore If let's say Western, they check everything, nothing wrong, then maybe TCM is the route for you. But if TCM, maybe they treat you, you still never get better. Then maybe something wrong in the Western medicine field.
Then you have to go and get it checked.
Correct.
Body checkups and everything. Or maybe can visit some specialists to see exactly what is wrong with you. It doesn't harm to go for a second opinion.
Correct. Yeah. So maybe now I just give a brief rundown of some common symptoms that in TCM we might say is related to sub-health So let's start with physiological ones. So for example, fatigue, body ache, heart palpitations, headaches, insomnia. You have a lot of frequent dreams, lack of appetite, bloating, diarrhea or constipation, cold hands and feet. That's a very common one. You feel warm all the time, increased body temperature. You fall sick very easily. You pee very frequently, or even things like hair loss. These are what we will call sub-health in TCM to a certain extent.
Or sometimes your immune system is down, and then you tend to get sick more easily. A lot of patients after they recover from cough, right, and then it's they just keep getting cough once COVID, in a while. May not be COVID or may be COVID, but it's every 2-3 weeks recover already, then you get cough again. Every 2-3 weeks recover, then you get cough again. Yeah, so maybe your immune system is down, or there's some inflammation in your body.
Yeah, so then there's also psychological things you have very poor mood. You're a bit down, depressed. You get angry very easily, restless, like what I mentioned. You cannot focus in work. You cannot remember things well. You have very tense relationships with your friends and family. Yeah, so all these are also considered as sub-health in TCM. And if you sort of listen to what we've gone through, actually there's a lot of different things.
Yeah.
Right, and so that's why we say, or that's why I said at the start that actually this topic is closer to home than you might think right? Everyone more or less has some of these issues here and there.
I guess it encompasses everything else that is not diagnosable. Everything else that makes you uncomfortable. Yeah, but it's not diagnosable. It falls under sub-health Yeah.
These are problems that people live with, right? So what are some of the implications if, let's say, they have these problems, they just because it's not a condition, I don't treat, and then some of the problems that you see?
It does affect you, and over a long period of time. In TCM concept, it kind of 耗气 it uses up your qi. So you get more tired more easily. You fall sick a bit more easily because you don't have energy to fight the disease. Yeah, your body grows a bit more frail a little bit. Yeah, with each passing cycle of illness and recovery. Maybe your digestion will go down, your metabolism will go down. Yeah, all this kind of thing. Lor. So over time, like you said at the start, right, it's a snowball. It might not be something that affects you a lot at the start, but if you don't treat it or you don't address it, yeah, it can snowball into something bigger.
So like sometimes, for example, like I have a friend where like usually they like to go out a lot and then they talk a lot also. They are always like full of energy and everything. Then after that, slowly, right, like all the body aches and then everything, like, and then it makes my like friend very, very tired. So it comes to a point where she doesn't like to go out with like friends and she just want to stay at home and do nothing. Like her energy level is like the lowest and she always falls sick. Yeah, so when it's like that, I think that you can just actually seek some help lah. Like TCM is a way to go, or like if you want like some counseling, you also can try to go. I mean, just do something to get your life back to normal. If not, it's like the character is like totally like a different person.
And it's not caused by any medical condition, right?
It's not
caused by these kind of small discomforts that over
snowballs.
time, then it becomes like it really affects your quality of life.
Yeah.
To a large extent.
Yeah.
So I mean the implications of sub-health I think are really huge. I was looking at a article, like a research paper that was actually looking at this topic in particular. So the basis of the research paper was basically they gathered a few thousand people in terms of sample size, and they sort of track the relationship between healthy living habits as well as its relationship to sub-health. Yeah. So from the results of the paper, one of the results that was quite interesting to me was that, so the sample size was actually 5,676 people. Okay, so they followed this bunch of people for about a year and a half. Okay, so before they tracked their so-called baseline health and everything, then they narrowed down that there was about 3,000 people with sub-health out of this sample size of 5,000 over people. Okay, then they tracked these 3,000 people for 1.5 years. At the end of the 1.5 years, they saw that 422 people out of that 3,000 people with sub-health problems returned to good health. Okay, 579 out of those people progressed to become ill with a certain disease, and 1,971 people out of those 3,000 people remain as people who has
Did they seek help
sub-health.
in the 1.5 years?
So the data was purely based on like they asked them to regulate their health in terms of healthy lifestyle habits.
Right.
They didn't seek help or anything.
Right.
So they monitor their diet, exercise, things like that.
Okay.
Yeah, and this was what the result was based off lah. So it was very interesting because out of that, the smallest group of people actually became healthy at the end of that 1.5 years. The largest amount of people which was actually almost 2/3, they stayed the same. Yeah, so this sort of reiterates the point that in terms of self-health, it's not something that is
They'll go away on its own.
they'll go on its own.
Yeah.
It's not something that is very easy. It's very sticky also because a lot of these things are caused by lifestyle. Right. So if you don't change your lifestyle, then it's very hard to change the cause. Right. And then it just keeps remaining lah. Yeah. And then the other group of people is that they have sub-health and then they progress into like a full-blown illness.
Disease.
Yeah. So the results, or like the point of the paper at the end, they basically said that, so when you're in this stage of sub-health, you're actually in a window of opportunity. If you play your cards right, you can recover. But if you play your cards wrong, you will become sick, or at best you just stay the same. Right? Okay. Yeah, so this sub-health, I would say,
statistics.
to put it simply, is very important for preventive healthcare lah.
Right.
I would say in Chinese we call it 治未病, to treat the illness that has not arrived. So in a sense, when you're in sub-health, you already have sort of half sick already.
Yeah.
Yeah. The best is if you're not sick, you don't get sick. But a lot of people...
Prevention is better than cure.
Correct. But a lot of people, unfortunately nowadays, because of the way society is. Most of us will
We
have.
tend to ignore it lah.
Correct.
Singapore work life very stressful leh.
Yeah, lor.
Medical bills getting higher leh.
The house getting more expensive.
If I'm not earning money, how to seek help? Any advice or recommendations?
It's very difficult to prevent some of these things from happening.
Right.
So what we can do as individuals as much as possible is to maintain healthy lifestyle habits. Yeah, so the very, very common ones like eating well, sleeping well, exercising, these are standard lah, right? I mean, we say it, you probably know it, but most of us don't do it. Yeah. So in terms of eating well, definitely making sure your food is on time. I think that is something that we
hot meals.
We don't
we neglect.
Yeah. Maybe we eat hot meals, but we don't eat on time. Yeah.
And then you cannot like eat very fast.
Yeah, correct. Chinese call it 暴饮暴食 Don't like you must,
too hard for your digestive system.
And then sleeping, we always say sleep by 11.
Yeah.
Hard to control.
Hard to control.
Do you sleep by 11?
I don't know. But in TCM, we believe the optimal time is 11 p.m.
Yeah.
By 11 p.m, you should be in bed. Allows
so
your body
that your body can
detox and rest enough for tomorrow. Yeah. Also, psychological habits wise, one of the like standard kind of advice I always give patients is 保持情绪舒畅. Is remain calm or remain like happy. Very easy to say lah, but I mean these are real psychological things like what Katrin said, right? The friend stress. Is it your friend stress? Yeah, friend stress. Then after that, all this, low energy. So it really affects your physical health as well lah.
Yeah.
So mood, emotional health, mental well-being, your relationships, your hobbies, your distress methods. Yeah, all these are aspects that are equally important as well lah, if you want to maintain good lifestyle habits.
Recently, like a lot of like tech companies have like layoffs and everything. So I think that a lot of people will be like very stressed that they can't like find a job. So that is when all your body function starts to like go haywire and everything. So if you think about it in another way, you can just give yourself a break, give your body a break, and then after that, like once you're done giving yourself a break, you can just you have more energy to like start anew. Like you have more determination and fighting power after you give yourself a break lah. Like it's okay to take a break.
Yeah, I think it's okay.
I think it's very important.
I also need a break. I need a break.
Okay, bye.
I need to go Bali and lie on the beach. Yeah, okay, so I think that's all we have.
Bye.
Thanks for joining us again on this episode. We hope to see you on the next one.